let's talk about a key project management skill that's a lot of times overlooked by project managers there. That's one is organization. My name is Guilherme and I'm a project management expert. I help professionals to go for the next step in their project management careers. Meaning if you are looking to start, I can help you to start, but if you are looking to grow, to get a promotion, to develop, that's of course what I'm looking to do it here. And of course, before I forget, make sure you click here in the link and subscribe for more content. Every week there's more content on my YouTube channel, but also every day is more content on my Instagram channel. And only next week I'm going to make an event called Planner Pro Live Masterclass, which is going to be a free event on Zoom. Of course, there's a limitation because it's on Zoom, so maximum people there will be 100 people. But everything is free, so it's going to be a masterclass about project management planning. If you're interested, just click in the link here and subscribe there. Everything is free. So let's talk about one of very key skills that's a lot of times overlooked by project management. So let me start, of course, as always, your goal as a project manager is to deliver value for the company. A lot of times, what is going to be to deliver value for the company is going to be that one of the things that you do is that you put some structure in the chaos. Meaning, if you are depending on the project that you are working on, you have several team members, maybe 5, maybe 8, maybe 10. Hopefully, you don't have more than 10 because then it's too messy for a team. And that's what happens with these people. So there's a lot of people interacting. There's a lot of different areas working together, a lot of different disciplines there. And your goal of as a project manager is to organize all those different disciplines working together there, making sure that they're aligned into a common goal. And so you need to organize the information going on there to put some structure there. And when I'm talking about organization, I'm not talking about being nitty gritty with all the details and making sure that everything is naming, everything has a tag. I'm talking about to have a structure, a backbone where people can find themselves to progress with their work, with their activities. One very simple example of organization: having a shared folder, a SharePoint or a Google Drive, where you have kind of a standard structure there to help to help people to know where they need to add information, project documentation, and so on. This is just a simple example, but that helps a lot in a lot of different things. Think about if you're transferring a project to another project manager, or if you're getting a project from another project manager. If all the different projects they have the same SharePoint structure, it makes your lives much easier to understand. Okay, the timeline is going to be here, the business case is going to be here, qualification plan or how you're going to do qualification is going to be here, or whatever your definition of done is going to be here. It's important that you create this environment and this structure, and because that will help your team to understand where they need to store for talking specifically about the SharePoint, where they are going to need to store the information, but where they can find information when they need it. The same thing for you. So by doing this only basic structure there, you're helping your team already to be more effective, to waste time looking for files if everything is organized. Other things as you do in your organization. For example, if you're working with a work breakdown structure, a WBS, this needs to be organized in a structured way. Why do you want to organize your scope? Because if you have some organization, it makes it easier to oversee what needs to be done. Again, so you're helping your team to converge to a goal. So you want alignment to make sure you can reach this goal there. And but also makes easier to understand which piece of the scopes go where, how they're, even depending how you're organizing your WBS, you are going to be able to see interrelation among the different deliverables. It's the same thing if, like, for example, if you're using Scrum. That's why everything that needs to be done goes into a product backlog. Because the product backlog, it's where you organize and you prioritize activities. But if you're missing stuff. So if you don't have the minimum of organization to keep your backlog, your product backlog, organize it and complete, that's going to lead to a lot of different problems. And I talk with project managers, and sometimes they think in their organization, yeah, I don't need to do that. So let me give you a very simple example that I've seen recently there. There was a project manager that he was working, or he's working with three different sites where he's ordering stuff from different sites, different type of material, different type of quantities, and so on. Then I basically ask, okay, do you have an overview what you're ordered from where, and when do you expect those things to happen? And then he replied, yeah, I have it. So what he presented to me was basically the orders or the purchase orders, everything in the folder. So if you want to know what's a purchase order, you need to open it, you need to read it. And even though if you read it, okay, it's there, but you don't know anything about the status, if it's open, if it's not. What happens in a situation like that? You just create chaos. The chance that you are going to miss something, they are quite high. The chance that you are going to forget something, there's quite high. So always keep in mind that one of a very important roles that you play in a team is to bring structure. Also, because by bringing this structure, and let me the example of the project manager that I about it all different parts. Just put a table with the orders, quantities, sites, and if it's done or not. Very simple table. Take you 1 or 2 minutes to do it and to keep it updated. Of course, if you do it from the start, if you do it after 6 months, then of course it's a nightmare. But this organization helps you to be more efficient, helps to give a clear picture for the entire team what's going on there. So this structure and this organization that you're going to bring, it's very important from everything that you do it. From organizing the scope, from organizing risks, to organizing deliverables, to organizing customer feedback, for prioritizing. If you do not have an overview what needs to be done, you're not going to be able to prioritize. How you're going to prioritize something if you're missing half of the tasks or half of the deliverables? All those things they come via organization. That's why if you look, making a parallel here, if you look for the lean management or Toyota production system, one of the first things that they would do in a manufacturing site, clean everything to make sure that, of course, it was possible to see what's going on there. Otherwise, a lot of machines they were dirty. Uh, the situation was you can find it so messy that they could not even see that something was leaking. But then organization, because once you organize things, you can see and you can start to think about it. Because in the chaos, you are not going to be able to decide. You are not going to be able to prioritize. So this is a good practice that you can think about that comes from lean management. But all good managers, all good project managers, you need to have some sort of organization. Because if you don't, you are going to lose yourself in what you're doing. And it's important that you find your what type of organization works for you. For example, some years ago, I was organizing my meeting notes by date, and I was putting everything on my OneNotes. So I would write down a lot of times in the email. I would send to the team, and with one button, I would transfer to my OneNotes, and that was everything organized by time. So I kind of felt nice to look on that one. And then there was a junior project manager, and then he starts to work, and he starts to try to copy exactly what I was doing. But exactly what I was doing was not working from him. Because what you need to find out is you need to have the structure, you need to have the organization, but you need to have in a way that works for you. Why? Because if it becomes too time consuming for you to do something, if it becomes a burden at some point, chances are that you're not going to stick with that. So you need to find a way that works for you, but also works for your team. Does not need to be complex. Does not need to be perfect, But you need to have some type of structure to make sure that people can find themselves, to make sure that they align on their ideas. Otherwise, you're going to fall into a mess, into a chaos. And I've seen project managers, they were so lost in their chaos, in their own cause there. They could not even understand what was the steps that they had to take, for example, to continue developing the project. Because at some point they were all completely overloaded by the day-to-day tasks, the requests from the team, all a lot of stuff. And without having a minimum system to organize information, to manage what was going on, they kind of get lost. And I organize this. I use a lot of my mail, and of course my mail, my agenda, and few other things. You can use your SharePoint. I just give you an example. I used to do, if you're working, for example, with suppliers, external parties, and you write your notes in a SharePoint, you can send it. You can use Excel to write the meeting notes. You put dates and you keep everything organized. You can use PowerPoint. For example, the projects that I'm working right now, a lot of times we need to share, it's a semiconductor project, so we need to share visuals like how it looks like, how the assembly steps, and of course makes much more handy than having something on Excel, because then you can place the image, then you can place notes, and you can make everything more visual and easier for people to understand. But you need to find out what's best in your specific situation. Of course, also you need to make sure that your organization, it needs to add some type of value there. For example, I've just mentioned that I use PowerPoints in a lot of projects to organize the discussions that we have with the team. I've seen other project managers, what they do, they have, each team member has his or her own slide talking, then and in the end up you talk there, you add actions. Then you add a table in the end slide with those actions, and they transfer this table in the end slide for another Excel. This is, at least in my perspective, this is the kind of the organization that does not add anything there. Why you are going to transfer the actions from one table to another? If you update D here, you need to update there. That's a waste of time. So instead of, okay, you are better organizing team, you are keeping a log, but likely you're wasting the time that you're putting on that does not pay the value, that the extra value that you added there. So keep in mind that organization needs to be balanced out, meaning that you don't want to have everything so tied up that will consume you a lot of time, but you need to be able to guide yourself in what you are doing and quickly retrieve from what's going on there. I've seen an example of organization, for example, with emails. In the past, I create emails, I create boxes per project and per topic of the project. So, for example, I was working in engineering, procurement, and construction projects. So I would have a tab, project X, design, procurement, construction, assembly, commissioning, and I would organize all the emails there. What I noticed with that, a lot of times I would waste an enormous amount of time to classify in which category those emails should be in, because sometimes the title of the email was not well written, so it's hard to identify. So you need to open and read the email. And at some point, I was losing a lot of my time to organizing like that. So what did I did? I stopped it. I kept it in the project level. So I still kept organization. And in the case of the emails, what if sometimes I had emails that was talking on the design and procurement? Where do I'm going to put those? So I decided to put in the project level. So that's a way I simplified my organizational structure. I'm still able to get the value that I need there, but I avoid a lot of extra burden trying to classify. So keep in mind, whatever you're doing there, the organization needs to be in place for you to be able to be more effective, for you to be able to guide your team, for you to be able to help your team to be more effective there. Because in the end, executing a project is to organize your effort, to organize your knowledge. Because if you have a lot of knowledge and everything is disorganized, that's not very helpful. For example, in other company that I worked in the past, I asked, okay, do you have a database? And then the one of the department managers, he got very defensive. Of course, I have a database and blah blah blah. I say, okay, can you present to me because I need information there. Then he says, yeah, this is all the bids that we have. So for every bid that the company was doing, there was a folder. Inside of every folder, there was a lot of quotes from a lot of different material and equipment designs that the company was quoting with the suppliers and for that. But what he did not understood is, okay, the information is there, but the value that you can get, it's very low because it's not organized. Say, I want a quote in this case for equipment number X. How do I know where to find on equipment number X? You are telling me that I need to open 100 different types of folders to look for that. It's never going to work. In your organization, in a situation like that, what did I did? I had an intern in my team, so I asked him, okay, I want you to start to draft a database for me. So go in project blah blah blah. For example, there was metallic structure there. What I want you to do is put in this metallic structure what was the weight, what was the price paid per weight, and some design characteristics that can help me to use later on to make an assessment. Like how tall is the metallic structure there, what kind of voltage, this was a substation, this is operating, what kind of distance between phase that you have, because once I want to know an estimation there, I can take these key parameters there, I can estimate the weight, then I can know what I do need there. And I can tell you, after he organized this very simple database in Excel, very rustic to say the least, I was able to create a full estimation in a project with less than 10% of error there. Just by making some key considerations and having the information organized. Because I say, okay, I have those quantities here, so you can work into your budget, you can work into your timeline. But if the information is not organized, that would not be feasible. Instead of looking for a table and making my estimation, that would take me probably, because it took the intern there, weeks to organize the information there. So me and my team, they were able to use in a better way there. Find ways where organization makes sense there. More organized that you are, more structure. And then again, I'm talking about a structure, a backbone there. I'm not talking about making sure that you're going to review stuff to the eye, to the dots of the eyes there to make sure that everything is there. This is kind of, then you're wasting time. So we always find a balance there. But if you don't have any organization, I can tell you that by changing the way of work, you are going to be much more efficient there. You're going to enable your team to be much more efficient, and you're going to be able to much easier to align your project goals to step in. Think about that. What I'm telling you here, that's one of the foundations of lean management. Everything on lean, you're going to be starting with the 5S. So you're going to clean stuff off, organize stuff off to make sure that you're going to be more effective. Then you're going to think about, okay, how I can improve what you're doing there. So this is a key skill that you need to start to exercise there. Which level you go depends a bit on your personality, how you want to do it, on your team, what's needed, the size of the project. But think about you always need to have something there. Otherwise, you're going to get lost there. If you like this content, make sure, of course, you clicking the button like, share with other people that needs to learn these things there. And of course, if you are interested in learning more about how to plan a project, I'm going to make the Planner Pro live masterclass there. Everything is free. It's going to be on Zoom, so you need to subscribe. I've already mentioned Zoom has a limitation, at least for the license that I have. I have a license that allow at least a maximum 100 people there in the meeting room. So make sure that, of course, you register, you join the WhatsApp group, and in the day and time, be ready to join. Because if the room is full, it's going to be full. Nothing I can do about that. Thank you, and see you soon. Bye.